my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and these are the hottest Golden Age comics for the week. Um, and it's not my typical place that I look for Golden Age records. I'm actually just going to look at one specific auction that happened on Comic Link, and it's the winter sale that they're having. I'm actually going to follow this up with tomorrow's video where I'm actually going to look at their hottest Silver Age books that sold. So that's actually a pretty cool list too. But let's get into this list. They had some pretty cool books that sold on Comic Link, and let's get into them. So the first one is Fight Comics number 35. This is from Fiction House 1944. It's a Joe Doolin cover. And it's kind of an infamous cover because it is a topless woman cover. So there's this girl basically on a porch, and she's topless. And she's wearing sort of like a hula veil, or not veil, hula like necklace, basically that covers any potentially risque things. But it's a very famous cover because of the fact that she is nude on the cover. And this was a interesting sale. This was a 8.0 that sold, a really high grade for this book. And it sold for $1,850. The previous record for this book actually was set back in November of 2020 for $2,400, so $600 more back in 2020. And actually, the last sale for this book was even higher than this sale. Last sale was for $1,920 in February of 2024, so just last month. So this book has been sort of on a downward trajectory. I'm not quite sure why. It's a cool book, but definitely one that has fallen from grace. So this sale is kind of in line with that other sale. It's a little bit down from that previous sale, but not much. So there's 44 of these on the census, and 43 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Manhunt number 14. This is from Magazine Enterprises, 1953. This is also known as A1 Comics, number 77. It's sort of a weird titling system that they had. But this is a really cool cover. This is probably one of the more unusual covers from the Golden Age. It almost reminds me of something you would see in the Platinum Age, where they had some pretty crazy covers in the Platinum Age, in the pulps. And this is like a girl in a red dress, always girls in red dresses. And then she's she's being pinned down, bondage, and you have this little dwarf-like creature coming up onto her body and injecting her neck with a hypodermic needle. Just a crazy cover. Those are the kind of things that people love about the Golden Age, these crazy covers. And this is a very popular cover. So this was a 5.5 that sold, and it sold for $3,600. Now this is an interesting one because it is a new record. It's a Dick Ayers and Bernie Bosch cover, by the way. But this is a new record. It was the previous record was set back in 2017. So this book hasn't really sold that recently. And the previous record was 2,400. So it's up 1,200 from the prior record. However, and this is a big however, there was actually a 5.0 that sold in October of 2022 for $4,080. So this is down about 10% from the 5.0 sale, which is a lower grade. So not a strong sale. Very weak sale, actually, for this book. You would have expected it to probably sell for around $4,500 just because of that higher grade point. So about $1,000 somebody saved on this book. Just a very weak sale. There are 41 of these on the census, and 38 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list, Criminals on the Run, Volume 4, Number 7. This is from Novelty Press, 1949. It is a classic cover. It is a hilarious cover because you literally have a criminal on the run, and he's throwing a fish into into the guy that's chasing him's face, police officer's face. He's getting a fish in the face, and it's just a crazy LB Cole cover, and it's for that reason that it's kind of a popular one. It's a such an odd cover. This was an 8.0 that sold, and it sold for $4,100, and it's actually down as well. The previous record for this book was set back in August of 2022 for $4,500, $560. And there was actually a 6.5 that sold in June of 2022. And it sold for $5,280. Actually, so that 8.0 had actually gone down from the 6.5 sale that it sold in 2022. And strangely enough, that 8.0 that sold back in 2022 was the same copy as this one. So this book has got a bit of bad luck associated with it, I guess, because it's down from even what other books were selling for in lower grades. So this is down about 10% from what it sold for back in 2022, and much further down from almost $1,100 down from what the 6.5 sold for. Not sure what happened, just a very weak sale for this book. There's only 16 of these on the census, and 15 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Detective Comics number 73. This is from DC Comics, 1943. It is the first Scarecrow cover, and only Golden Age Scarecrow cover. But this book sometimes goes for more than the first appearance of the Scarecrow because it is a cool Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson cover. Just a really cool Scarecrow cover. It kind of really does a really great job of capturing the Scarecrow. This was a 2.5 that sold, and it sold for $5,050. The previous record for this book was set back in July of 2020 for $3,020. So this is up a lot. It's like big sale, maybe balances out some of those other sales that were a little bit weak. This was a strong sale. It's up $2,000 from the prior record. Just a really, really strong sale for this classic Batman villain. There's 111 of these on the census, and 90 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is Frankenstein Comics number 1. This is from Prize Publication, 1945. It is the origin of Frankenstein, and also has a Frank Sinatra parody story inside it as well. It is a Dick Briefer actually did the story, cover, and art for this book. It's kind of his creation. And this was a 9.0 that sold, and it sold for $11,225. Now, there's no previous record or even sales in this grade, so it's one that you have to kind of look at what would it compare to. So I looked at the 9.2, and the 9.2 had a sale back in 2018 for $15,600. So this is kind of in line with what the 9.2 would be, what that 9.2 sale was. However, again, there was actually a 8.5 sale back in December of 2022 for $12,000. So this is actually down from that lower graded 8.5 sale. So a bit of a weak sale as well. So far, Comic Link, the sales aren't quite, not quite as what you would expect. They're a little bit weak overall. Number 5 on the list is, sorry, there are 65 of those on the census and 56 Universal Blue Labels. Number 5 on the list is Suspense Comics number 11. This is from Continental. 1946. It's an L.B. Cole cover. And it's a classic Devil cover where he's pouring down the money. It's just like, it's like a classic Devil cover. And it's one that's highly sought after by collectors. This was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for $12,223. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in November of 2017, so 7 years ago, so pretty far back. And it was only $3,824. So this is up 3 times, almost 4 times from that prior record. Just a massive sale for this book. That shows, I think what might have been happening is people spent all their money on these couple core books, and these other ones didn't do as well. I don't know, something weird's going on. But this one was a massive sale. There are 74 of these on the census, and 70 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is one that I really love. This is Allstar Comics number 8. It's from DC Comics, 1942, Everett E. Hibbert cover. And it is the first appearance and origin of Wonder Woman, a character that I really love. And this is her, so it's her first appearance. It's also the time that Captain Midnight and Starman joined the JSA, which is the Justice Society of America. So it's got a couple keys going on for it, but that Wonder Woman key is the big thing. She is probably the most popular female superhero of the modern era. So just a very cool book to get. Now, this was a 1.0 with brittle pages that sold. And it sold for $16,605, which is low, which is another failed record, because this book had sold in an actually worse 1.0. There was an incomplete 1.0 that sold back in October of 2018 for $20,000 with slightly brittle pages. So similar page quality, maybe a slightly better page quality, but it was actually missing pieces like of the book. So this one was a very weak sale altogether. This 1.0 really was rough looking. It looked like it was lit on fire or something. It was pretty rough looking. And it had some water damage on the back. So this 1.0, maybe that's why people didn't kind of bid it up a bit higher, but it was a very weak sale. So down almost $4,000 from the prior record set back 6 years ago. So that's a long time for it to actually go down. There are 202 of these on the census, and 144 are Universal Blue Labels. Number 3 on the list is Chamber of Chills 19. This is from Harvey Comics. It is a classic Lee Elias cover with the girl with the glass. And now this is one of those covers that was used on the Misfits Monster album and was made popular through that. And it's probably one of the most famous or iconic pre-code horror covers of all time. This was a 5.5 that sold, and it sold for $18,500. Now, this is a new record because the prior record for this book was set back in January of 2024 for $18,000. So it's up $500. So it's a strong sale for this book. And it's just a classic book and highly sought after book. There are 138 of these on the census, and 130 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 2 on the list is Police Comics number 1. This is from Quality Comics 1941. It is the origin and first appearance of Plastic Man. And it's also the first appearance of Firebrand and the Human Bomb, and a character that I really like, Phantom Lady. So has all those things going for it. Very important book for Quality Comics because it's kind of their flagship title. And this was a really interesting sale because it was an 8.5 blue label. It's very important that I have to say this, blue label, but there was a note on it. that said, this is a CGC note, very minor amount of glue on spine. Now that's really important to understand. There's glue on the spine. Well, that could mean a couple things. That, somebody had done what's called a tear seal, or fixed a split spine with glue. Normally that's denoted as restoration. So I'd be very nervous about this book, but this was a big sale for this book. It was a $40,000 sale, which is actually the highest price across any grade for this book. This is the highest sale in the record, in the history of this book. The previous record for this same grade was set back in June of 2020 for $22,655. So it's up almost double, even with that note saying that there's potentially it is a restored copy. I'd be very nervous about that, but it's a big sale, and somebody really wanted it. It's actually a Gil Fox cover, which is kind of cool. And yeah, so just an interesting one. I'd be a little bit nervous about it. I don't know. I think people didn't see that little note that suggests potentially restoration. I don't know. So 63 of these are on the census, and 47 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 1 on the list is Batman #1. This was actually the biggest sale that they had across any of the books. This was DC Comics 1940, and it was a Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson cover. It's the first appearance of the Joker. It's the first time they mention the cat, which you don't see in costume, and she later becomes that Catwoman in issue of Batman #3, which is kind of the key Catwoman appearance, in my opinion. And this one was a restored copy that sold. It was a 5.0 restored, and it sold for $46,000. Now, the restoration included, it's a moderate restoration A3, which means that it's professional restoration that was being done to it. It has color touch, pieces added, tear seals, spine split sealed. So if that restoration is removed, this book would probably grade out at a 1. It would probably drop quite significantly, depending on how much of that spine split, like how much of the spine was split. If it's a complete spine split, it would actually grade out at a 0.5. So that all being said, it sold for $46,000, which is down significantly from the prior record for this book in a restored label. It had a prior record of $72,000 set back in June of 2021. So $72,000, it's down almost $30,000 from that previous record. It got hit hard. And a lot of these restored ones, like you'll notice that they are A something, because it was very common to get, if you had a Batman one or Superman one or some really nice mega key, you would get it restored. And that was very common back in the day. And it was very accepted. Things have changed. These restored books are getting, just punished in terms of value. Probably if it was unrestored, it would be like, many times more expensive. So I don't know. I think still I'd rather pay a little less and get the restored book and a nice copy. I always wonder about that restoration. I'd love to hear what people think about the restoration in the comments below. But there are 305 of these on the census. And just to give you a sense of how much restoration there is, only 146 of them are blue labels. So less than half are actual blue labels. So, think about that, how that means that restoration, it might be the only option. So I'd like to hear what people think. Please leave a comment, a like if you enjoyed this content, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.